Okay, so the storm seems to have died down a bit since I did the Snake Eyes unboxing that I just did. So I figured let's try to bang out another episode of Batman the Animated Series. So this is going to be episode 16, Eternal Youth. And if you don't know who the villain of this episode is, I'm not going to spoil it for you, or at least I'm going to try not to spoil it for you. The next episode will be Two-Face Part 1, followed by Two-Face Part 2, then Fear of Victory, I've got Batman in my basement, Vendetta, Prophecy of Doom, The Forgotten, Mad as a Hatter, and The Cape and Cowl Conspiracy. You know that's one I'm looking forward to, because that one's one of my favorites. So let's go ahead and get started with Eternal Youth. Now, there's a character on this episode that I forget what the character's name is because it's been a while since I watched it. But she was a character that at one point they had intended to be a recurring character, and she wound up not being because I guess they just couldn't think of like any more story ideas for her. Maybe it was one of those things where like when they first thought of this character, they're like, ooh, there's lots of cool stuff we can do with her. But then it turned out there wasn't really that much cool stuff they could do with her. But it was a character that was created to be a love interest for Alfred, and she was kind of loosely inspired by the character of Jessica Fletcher, who I'm sure like most people my age will remember her being played on Murder, She Wrote by the late great Angela Lansbury. So yeah, Angela Lansbury was kind of like Betty White before Betty White was Betty White. So she would have been to like our parents' generation, I guess, what Betty White was to us. Anyway, let's go ahead and watch Eternal Youth, and maybe we'll see why this character didn't make a return appearance. So here we go with our infamous intro and our shifty-eyed characters blowing up the bank. And Batman races to the scene of the crime in his Batmobile. HBO Max should do like a special edition of this for the old-timey fans and put the little white spot back on Batman's lip. Lovely. Eternal Youth. And we've got a nice title card with a hand. Or no, it's a tree. It's a tree that looks like a hand. And once again, the animation is directed by Kevin Altieri. It's a fairly lovely looking health spa in this lady, trying to sneak out of it. She's in such a hurry she didn't even put on shoes. Are we sure Kevin Altieri directed this episode and not Quentin Tarantino? Is that Judge Vargas? I think it might be Judge Vargas. If you don't know who Judge Vargas is, wait till we get to the strange secret of Bruce Wayne. Poison Ivy. I told you when she created her own supervillain outfit and supervillain name to kill Harvey Dent, it was just the first step on down her road to supervillainy. See, they're trying to hide that it's Poison Ivy, but she's clearly wearing Poison Ivy's boots and Sounds just like poison ivy. Why are we trying? Are we just being dramatic? Why are we hiding it? We know it's her. And she gets hit by the gas, and you can hear those sounds. Who could the villain be? It's somebody who's got the same hairstyle and boots as Poison Ivy and is doing plant-based crimes and sounds just like Poison Ivy. Yeah. Bruce Wayne, who cares about his business and pays attention to what it does and doesn't let it become a slush fund for corrupt politicians and gangsters. Eternal Youth Spa. Demetectrix presents. That's a flower. That's also a flower. Who could our mysterious villain be? Even Robert Pattinson could figure it out. Da, 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 da. Jessica Fletcher used to jog in the opening credits of Murder, She Wrote. I'm just pointing that out.
Maggie. Hello.
Maggie, that was her name. Maggie is short for Margaret. Another nickname people give to people named Margaret is Peg. I have no idea why that is. But the character that was Alfred's sister in the movie Batman and Robin was also named Margaret, and she was nicknamed Peg. And in the early drafts of it, she wasn't supposed to be Alfred's sister. She was supposed to be like a former love interest of Alfred. So it's interesting that two characters who supposedly are love interests of Alfred are named Maggie, or Margaret, or Peg, or some variation thereof. So Rose and Daisy, or whatever their names are, giving us a nice pitch of the Eternal Youth Spa. No, I really don't. Please don't invite me on a date with my own stalker, Master Bruce. Healthy.
I'm afraid it's quite out of the question.
Womp womp. Alfred in his stylish tracksuit being whisked away by this Jessica Fletcher wannabe to the Eternal Youth Spa. And a very nice Art Deco design to that gate.
Our topic is a notion. What should we do? Somebody's got to be.
Who could our mystery villain be? It's a good thing they keep hiding her in these shots. Oh, there she is, Dr. Demeter. Not Poison Ivy, because she's wearing glasses. Poison Ivy doesn't wear glasses. I know what you're thinking. She takes them off when she transforms into Poison Ivy. Well, that doesn't make any sense. How is she able to see? Just like Uma Thurman. Alfred is cosplaying the character of Luffy from One Piece. He must have seen that show on Netflix recently. The animation on this episode is really good. Not to belabor the obvious on an episode that I already pointed out was animated by Kevin Altieri. Bottoms up. Actually.
This kind of wilderness experience I enjoy. It's a real brain buster, my friend. No ransom, no goodbye, no nothing. And she's not the only ransom.
We're like 13 minutes into this episode, and this is the first time we've seen Batman, by the way.
Good luck. We put that place on the pipe.
But you know what? I honestly didn't even really notice until he finally showed up that, oh yeah, we haven't actually seen Batman yet. We saw Bruce Wayne for a little bit, but like I say, a lot of these episodes, like even though it's called Batman the Animated Series, that doesn't necessarily mean that Batman is the protagonist of the episode. Sometimes it's another character. On this one, it almost more seems like Alfred is the protagonist, but he'll take a back seat later on. It's just Alfred's just the protagonist kind of for the setup. This is Thomas. Eternal Youth Spa. That's not suspicious at all. Duh. I always really like the design of Wayne Manor here, it being on that mountain. Well, it certainly put him in a mood. Alfred has shown this woman like nothing but contempt throughout this entire episode. So you know that thing put him in a good mood or some kind of mood. And there's that entrance to the Batcave again, which was inspired by Fleischer Superman cartoons. Nicely animated tunnel. We don't get to see that a whole lot. And then Batman is shocked when he gets back to the Batcave, and there's potted plants all over the place. It's like he's got them all up the stairs. It's all right next to the Batmobile. It's on a freaking turntable.
What's that?
It's freaking green. And he's going to put more stuff in there. Maybe you could have given Ephraim like an actual glass of water to drink there and make more natural gulping sounds. Yeah, it works just fine. We're doing Tiny Toons, but oh, he's taking care of Alfred. That's sweet.
I need to check this.
But yeah, usually when they do like a live action Batman, they got to go out and find an actual mansion. But with the animated series, they can just make up whatever they want. So they've got it like on this just kind of mountain overlooking the ocean, and it's really cool.
Right. How strange to see. I just been thinking about it. Did you know? That's what I've been thinking about since I got home. Continue.
There's a potted plants all over the back cave.
Analysis of the chemistry doesn't help human suffering I have not combined equal amounts of mechanism to human plasma.
For those who are fans of the Spider-Man animated series, you'll know what plasma means. Or how Morbius was addicted to plasma! But Alfred's taken off. I always liked this sitting room that was designed for Wayne Manor.
Already our bodies have been primed for the true volume of my treatment. The ultimate rejuvenation. The promise of life everlasting.
She's even got little henchman outfits for her girls. And just like we see what happened with the lady earlier. Oh my god, it's Poison Ivy! I never would have saw that coming. It's such a shocking plot twist, isn't it? And then a cameo by the hedge monsters from The Stand, or The Shining. The TV movie, The Shining. Where you see those hedge monsters and you're like, now I understand why Stanley Kubrick turned it into a hedge maze. Nails on a chalkboard. No broken glass. All these trees and the sap.
You go after the wrong people, Batman.
Oh, you would identify yourself to me. We got some plans.
Hey, don't even think.
Unusual trees.
Subtropical Brazil. As rare as winter is that.
She looks a bit more statuesque in this one than she did in the previous one.
I taught that sap for my growth enzyme, which you see here.
A bit more Amazonian.
Most concentrated. The secret of eternal youth. But you haven't seen my most intriguing trees. Actually, you and I are surprisingly alike.
We're not so different, you and I.
We both thrive to see evildoers punished. But while you have your gallery of rogues, I have my throne.
Nice bit of body horror.
Enough to shade a small state. And weep not for this willow. She slaughtered an ancient forest to produce cardboard.
Cardboard!
Of course, I found Bruce Wayne for his involvement with that slash and burn. But for now, I'm content to say.
Well, Maggie wasn't really my friend.
Right now, the bark is nearly exoskeleton. It will take months of additional spray before the transformations become irreversible. But, of course, I have the patience of a man.
Actions are from now.
Well, that's not a
You're
plant.
not going to be part of the solution. You're obviously the problem, ladies.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
His prey is triple strength, Batman. It will start the transformation without any preliminary.
He's actually using the spray to lubricate his ropes. Ah, that's the Batman I know and love. Cunning and resourceful. God, look at his guns. I thought Batman was against guns. Not with pythons like that. Got that just in time. That was a good shot.
Justice, yes, but not the vengeance of mental terrorists. Lose the struggle as those who punish.
He is a good shot with that thing. The tree will be fine. You've already got, like, all that stuff stuck in it. Uh-oh. Hoist by your own petard. Ouch. And again, like, this is kind of some of the anime influence that I'm talking about. It almost seems like it's paying homage to Akira. The giant tree. Oh, man. And the funny thing is, like, Ivy turning these people into trees has probably helped to protect them while this whole thing sprouted up.
Tell me, is it this the second place we've been together in as many weeks? This relationship is astonishing.
Oh, Maggie.
Hey, good news. I just heard all the boys and victims were expected to become.
The plan must be
Womp womp.
You have to review this as
man. But sometimes not.
So that was the first and last episode to feature Maggie. She would never appear again. At least not that I know of. And she was voiced by Patty Edwards. Julie Brown was Lily. She was a friend of Paul Dini's. Probably came in and did the gig at his behest. And she would later return as the voice of Zatanna in the episode Zatanna. So we're looking forward to that one. I know I am. And Lynn Marie Stewart was the voice of Violet. So yeah, that was Eternal Youth. Pretty good episode. I don't know if if I'd go so far as to say it was a better episode than Pretty Poison, but it was definitely a more ambitious episode than Pretty Poison, and had some really good animation to it. But yeah, it was like the character of of Maggie Page would not become the recurring character that they had initially thought that she might. I guess it's just the sort of thing where it's like once they saw it in execution, it's like, do we really need a character that's Alfred's girlfriend? Like, people aren't tuning into this show like to see Alfred's love life. I mean, like, if you're a fan like me, you probably love Alfred, and he's probably one of your favorite supporting characters. And you like to see as much of Alfred as possible. Granted, but there's a certain extent to that. Like, usually you see Alfred in his capacity of like being a support system for both Bruce Wayne and Alfred. I'm sorry, both Bruce Wayne and Batman, and Alfred being like a source of advice and wisdom and things like that. But not many people are like, who's Alfred dating? What's his love life like? Does he have a girlfriend? Does he have a boyfriend? Like, what's Alfred's deal? As far as nobody really cares. Like, that's not really the sort of thing that people tune in for. It's nice to know that Alfred has a love life, I guess, but he just didn't seem too into Maggie either. Like, I kind of figure, like, it would be more interesting to see Alfred with a woman that he was truly interested in. Like, what if they had played this a little bit differently, and Bruce had gotten the invitation to the Eternal Youth Spa, and Alfred had said, that might be good for you to get away for a while, sir. And Alfred, like after that, Bruce was like, well, Alfred, I'm way too busy, with this case I've got going on, but maybe you'd like to take, Mrs. Page, your friend from the book club or whatever. And then Alfred actually like willingly invited her instead of being kind of forced into this weekend with this woman that he just seemed like he wasn't really that into. And he got into her when he was like, drugged by Poison Ivy's potion. But afterwards, he just goes back to being kind of like standoffish with her. So maybe eventually Maggie got the hint and figured out Alfred wasn't that into her. So Alfred had some girlfriends in the comic books too. The most notable one was during World War II. He had an affair with a character named Mademoiselle Marie, who was actually a character in combat comics that various World War II type of comics she would show up in the Silver Age at DC, and would have fathered a child with her. So that's where Julia Pennyworth came from. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed watching it with me. The next episode, it will be Two-Face. Yep, Two-Face Part 1. And I'm probably going to watch both parts when I watch that. As my recollection goes, the first part is excellent and one of the best episodes of Batman the Animated Series there is. The second part is okay. It's not bad, but it's just, the first act is just kind of a tough act to follow, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching it with me, and tune in next time. Some Bat time, same Bat channel. We'll talk to you later. Bye.